set? Okay. So like Hank said, we're going to start off on talking about the prep work that I would do for an engine area. Something that I do because I don't want to, let's say, depending upon your if you have a trickle charge on it, you know, try and some of the older cars, you could kind of move the lock so that it's the light goes out. One of the things that I try to do when I'm doing a deep clean is remove as much as I can. So in other words, like the, you know, here the air box. The air box is pretty easy to get out. You know, basically remove this from the throttle body. This clips out over here. This, if you want to come in just for a moment, this slides out, vacuum lines slide out, and then this just comes up. And then that enables you to clean this whole area. You know, it makes a big difference getting your hand into an area. Let's say back here, I could fit my hand in there, but if your area is kind of tight, something that I do is, you know, the long bristle brush that you might have for cleaning the vent on your dryer. I will wrap a microfiber cloth with some rubber bands or Velcro, whatever. And then that really enables you to get in to areas which are far back. Because the judges, a lot of times, what they see, if it looks dirty, it is dirty. So something that I use, I like this rinseless wash stuff. I could tilt this so that it comes in, you know, for the serving. And then I put it in, you know, a bottle here. Then I label it. And I use distilled water for the dilution that it requires. And a lot of times I'll write down what the dilution is, but this makes it pretty simple. So before you touch any painted surface or any surface, it's nice if you can add some slickness to it. And the rinseless wash, I think, is really good at that. When it comes to the, let's see, I'll do it on the air box. You know, I would use this. And the thing that's nice about it, it's gonna have a nice matte finish because that's the finish that, you know, it has from the manufacturer. You don't want to add shininess to the surface because the you know, the judges, it may be clean, but if it's shiny and they touch it, if they feel it, that you're going to lose points. How did it look when it came from the factory? So if something is shiny and you happen to like that, if a judge was to touch the sides of your tire or anything like this, you would lose points if they could feel it. Same thing with like grease in the hinges. Any hinges here, you know, you may think, oh, you know, of course it's gonna be greased. But if a judge sees grease or touches it, and technically if it's dirty, you're gonna lose points. But I would say it's a very thin line between it's clean grease and it's dirty. You know, if you're showing your car, you got to kind of, you're not going to get into any debates and win it with the judge. If you say, that's the way it came from the factory, they're not going to, you know, I could tell you from experience, you know. Everything here, like these different colors, there's a raised surface. So inside this, these are areas where the debris can accumulate. So you really want to, you know, pay special attention to anything with a raised surface. And like here where it says pentosan only, you know, that's the type of power steering fluid that this takes. You got to really be careful because the this painted surface here where it says pentosan in the steering wheel and the icons here, that's going to come off if you're aggressive. If you have if the products that you're using are too strong, it's going to take the paint off, you know, or if you use a brush that doesn't have soft bristles, again, that'll be a problem. So it's something, you know, Murray Kane, he was kind of the Concours person who was running the events when I joined the club. He was really good about, let's say, discussing, use the gentlest product that you can. You can always go up, but if you start off overly aggressive, it's hard to back away. Yeah, I'm very careful. You know, I'm not going to come in here with a garden hose because there's so much electronics in here. And, you know, personally, when I'm working on the vehicle, and if I put together an electrical connector, I use some dielectric grease. I just, you know, kiss it a little bit. I parked this car outside. So this has got, I got a little tree seedling in here, you know, so I'll get in there. You might not notice it. If your car's getting judged, they will. You know, so there was a tree seedling in there. Those are the type of things that, you know, you really want to be looking out for. And this is something, you know, I would spray in here. So right now this is on like mist. I'll put more like of a jet stream, like that. And then I'll just spray it in there. Just trying to get it, because it does have, soak that up. So this area here, where it gets tight, it's just going to accumulate dust and stuff. So just be on the lookout for areas like that. It really helps if you like to work on the car, I think. So if you're not afraid to take things apart. Another part, you know, the area where judges are looking, because most judges have shown their cars, they know where the, let's say the tricky parts for cleaning are. So all of this stuff here, these come off, this, you know, just basically unsnaps from here. So if you could soak this, because these veins, yeah, they're gonna be a little dusty. There's a piece of plastic here, which helps this maintain its shape. So just be careful, you know, when you take this off. And then just let it sit in some, you know, soapy water. That goes a long way to doing a deep clean on here, helping it look better. The fan, you know, I'll take this off so that I can really, you know, clean all of the blades of the fan, because it's kind of hard to do it with that on there. Now, if we were judging engines, you know, obviously it's all about the prep work. So it's all about the before work that you're doing. You know, so there is rejuvenators as well. You just want to make sure that whatever product you're using isn't going to be shiny. It's going to be matte. You know, because this is obviously a matte finish. And if you change that to being a shiny look, it's not going to be that great. Even, you know, like before an event, I'll just use a microfiber cloth with some water because, you know, where you sit on the seat and the bolsters, they tend to accumulate crumbs. The whole thing about why do we judge certain areas, in a way, it's helping you to preserve your investment. So those crumbs that are in that space, that material over time, as you sit and get out of the seat, it's going to be an abrasive motion, and it's going to wear down the seats. You know, I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. You know, the battery area of our cars, it is on the judging sheets, the battery area. And why should we care? Well, if you have corrosion on your battery post, you're not getting the best electrical connection that's possible. So, you know, that's an area where, yes, it's being judged. It's hard to get at sometimes. You know, you might have to remove a panel, but it really is good to keep after that because your car is going to start up better in the wintertime if those electrical connections are nice and clean. So just, you know, let's say talking about overall, let's say the approach that I take when I'm cleaning the car. I start at the top, and basically for the whole vehicle, I'll apply this rinseless wash. And so I'll spray the whole car down. And you don't have to worry about this drying on the vehicle. So I'll spray everything, the wheels, the glass, everything with the rinseless wash. And then I'll come back, you know, sometimes I have total auto wash in here. I've ever heard that. I like total auto wash. That's a nice liquid auto soap. But we've also gotten some great prizes on quality car washes from the club here that are also really good to use. So first, whole car gets the a rinseless wash, and that's, you know, hopefully it's encapsulating some of the dirt, but I think more importantly, it's helping us provide a little bit more of a slip surface here so that when we begin to touch it, we're less likely to mar the paint, put in swirl marks or scratches into the clear coat. And that's really, you got to kind of be thinking like, I want to be careful. If I have a microfiber cloth and it falls on the ground, you really got to be careful about using that. You should put it to the side. Even when you wash a microfiber cloth, it's almost like little hooks in the microfiber. Here's something. So I'll just pick out, if there's anything that isn't, like this little speck here. I just look over it, before I use it. So before you use the microfiber cloth, even if you've washed it, it might still have something in the weave of it. You have to be very careful, like we're mentioning here, that they're plastic fibers. So you want to use low heat, like wash it in cold water. And this is a proper, let's say, glass, and this is just, it has no nap to it, it's very flat. So your glass is pretty hard to clean. If you don't want to put these in with the microfibers that you're using for the paint, so the glass towels that you use should be treated separately, because glass is really hard enough to get to be streak-free without, let's say, mixing it in with these, the ones that you're using on the paint. And then when you do dry them, if the lowest heat possible when you're drying them, because otherwise you're going to be damaging the microfibers. Yeah. So you start at the top of the car, because the idea is to kind of have the water cascade down the vehicle, and so you've put the rinseless wash on there. Now you've got a bucket of clean water and let's say rinse water. So you've got your washing water, which you'll have your auto wash soap on there, and I'll pour some auto wash in there. But in the beginning, I'll take, let's say this is the wash mitt. I'll take the whatever product that we're using for auto wash, and it's a nice, let's say, heavy liquid, and I'll spread that on the microfiber, and then I'll rub it in so that the mitt really has a good amount of soap. This is the approach that I take, because I'm really trying to minimize it and have it be as slippery as possible. And I'm really trying to minimize introducing scratches to the paint. When you're doing prep work for a parade or a car show event, for me, let's say the surface of the wheel is all that's supposed to be judged. But when the barrels are filthy, it's gonna, for me, I think just as human nature, the judge is not going to be as impressed with the condition of that wheel compared to a wheel that's completely clean. So my point is, I ceramic coat. There's a consumer grade, easy to use ceramic coating, and I ceramic coat the wheels. And that really, what does ceramic coating do? It makes it easier for the dust to come off, the brake dust to come off. And if you're going to experiment with ceramic coating, I think the wheels are a great area for you to get used to it, because what could go wrong? Ceramic coating, when you read the instructions, it's going to talk about the relative humidity, and it may need to be below 60%, I think is certainly the product that I was using. So using a chemical decontaminant to loosen that, it makes all the difference in the world, the cleaner the surface, because the ceramic coating is just going to preserve whatever's there. So ceramic coating the wheels, it makes it, this morning, literally, it was about 20 minutes for me to do all 4 wheels. And it was just so convenient. I had a brush to get into the barrels, because personally, that's the way I like it to look. I like it to look clean. So one of the things that you got to be careful of, you really want to apply the ceramic coating not outside in the sun and the wind, because that just creates so many variables. And so if you could do it in your garage, that's great. And then you really want to do a small area. And the reason for that is you're kind of, let's say, you're going to apply it in a crosshatch way, so that you make sure that you're not in a circular way, but a crosshatch way. And you're following the directions, right? That's the important thing. You do what they tell you to do. And then you're looking for a little bit of a rainbowing effect. So in other words, it's gassing off, you know what I mean? And usually it's less than a minute, where you should be coming back to wipe it, buff it with a microfiber. And always have a couple, because it's so critical that you completely remove or you completely buff that. Otherwise, you're going to get a hazing. And if you get a hazing, in the beginning, if you catch it early, you would put, let's say, another ceramic coating on there, and then it kind of allows you to rework it. But if you've missed it, that's going to be hard. Let's say it's 2 weeks later or whatever, and it's really cured. It's going to be hard. But there are ceramic coatings which are, let's say, for enthusiasts like us. And, I could help you with that product. But, like what I did this morning in this area, when I was cleaning the wheels, in the corners here, so where there's 90-degree angles, and also, in this area here where Jerry's talking about, it's, with a brush, it just doesn't get in there. But because I'm spraying Iron X on here, I had gloves on. I just come in here with my finger, and it's not getting underneath the nut like you mentioned. But in the 90-degree corners, it was filthy. So I just come in with my finger, and especially with that glove on there, kind of helps. Let's talk about glass for a moment. I like to do the inside first. And my thinking is the outside is going to be dirty. Inside, you tend to get maybe some haze from the off-gassing of the materials. And if you do have, let's say maybe somebody's a smoker, or if you have a new car where the off-gassing has happened, isopropyl alcohol on a microfiber, that cuts through the haze particularly well. But let's say you're past that phase and you don't have much that. What I'll do is, this is the low nap microfiber. So I'll spray here. I don't want to ever spray like this, because then you're going to get spray on your dash, and whether it's leather or vinyl, it's not a good thing. And you do, glass cleaner for automobiles is not Windex. Windex has ammonia D, which if you have tint, ammonia D is too strong. So, automotive glass cleaner is made for cars. Just like with the auto wash, if you use Dawn dish detergent, it's going to remove the polish and wax that you have on the car. It's too strong. Now, if you want to ceramic coat your car and you want to get it really down to the base, that may be a time where you're using something which is a little bit more aggressive. But anyway, so, I would wipe the glass. Glass is hard to get clean. So you really want to have a microfiber to dry it with. And you may need a second one. If this one gets damp at all, come in with a second one. And I try to, let's say you saw me go like this. So what I'm looking for when I do it on the outside, I would go this way. Because when I'm trying to find out, where is that spot? Is it on the outside or is it on the inside? It helps a little bit if you've used a different stroke, with that. So 2 microfibers for drying and this low nap. The lighting here is indoor light. It's not the same as outdoor light. If your car's being judged outdoors and it's sunny, it's going to be different. So it's going to be very bright. So you really, I find I need perspective. I need to step away from the car and look at it from different angles. Getting on your knees when it comes to the side of the car. Because if the judge gets on its knees and you've done everything from a standing position, you're going to miss a lot. You know, and your rocker panel could be not in the cleanliness that it needs to be. So that's something I think is also very important. Let's say after I finish doing the car, when you have to open everything up, you know, sometimes depending upon the weather, you could, you know, have sweaty palms or whatever. You know, it's not a sign of weakness if you use a microfiber cloth to open the window, and especially when you need to close it. Because if you go like this, you're going to put fingerprints on there, and you're going to get a deduction. You know, it is an area that's, I have a Sears Die Hard. That's a special battery. You know, you could see it's got a little red on here. So that's kind of I'm not showing this car, so, you know, like that's kind of a grease that helps keep from the corrosion from building up. But you really want to try and make sure that that's as clean as possible. And I do keep a trickle charge, even you know, I parked this car in the driveway, but I still extend a trickle charge onto it. Cleanliness is what's important. And so when it comes to cleanliness, so before a big event, you really want to take these panels off, and it's really kind of easy. It's just like a little jigsaw puzzle here, you know, to remove all these, you know, and you could see this is why. So you do want to, you know, make sure you do this stuff ahead of time. I park my car outside, so this is something which, you know, builds up quite easily. And you could see, you know, this is something you want to make sure that you get all that debris out. I could share some pictures. When I drove to Oklahoma City, I had a couple hitchhikers that I picked up along the way, and they were wedged in. These were big insects. So it is something that this is a big area, and when it comes to a Concours, the areas that are getting judged, again, it's for our own good, you know, helping us to preserve our investment. You want that area to be clean, you know, to optimize the cooling and, you know, to keep those fans from, not fans, but the radiators there from getting corroded. And this is really, this car has all-wheel drive. I have winter tires on this in the wintertime, and I take this when I want to go skiing. When I go up to Canada, I take this car. So this is your daily driver? I have a Boxster. I'm in that position where I have my summer car and the more winter car. Cerakote, that's it. It was Cerakote was the product that I used. And Cerakote, it really did a nice job. And, you know, like anything else, you know, getting things out of the way so that you got to clean. The prep work is key with anything when you're trying to preserve it or bring it back. You got to clean it well first. So I found the Cerakote, and this has been a few months. You know, some of the chemistry now is so much better, you know, easier to use. So I try and be open-minded, you know, about what's out there. Again, being careful about the marketing, because like ceramic coating, when it first came out, they were setting fire to the paint and taking, you know, things and going like this. The marketing was crazy. You know, for me, ceramic coating the vehicle, just like clear coat, it adds a little bit of a layer and it makes cleaning the car easier. That's the marketing that I appreciate. And let's say I believe a little bit more in. And certainly for the wheels, it's been great. Because anybody who uses the TechStar brake pads, which is the original equipment for many of the, let's say for the 1997 car that I have, you pull out of the driveway and you've got dust. It's like immediate. So the TechStar brakes, that's what's original, but it throws off so much dust. Yeah. All right, well, I hope you found it helpful. I think that's it.
All right, well, thank you very much. this wheel that's supposed to be putting at the valve stem.